Hello my lovelies, so today we're going to be doing a hip opening class. I've had quite a lot of people saying that they're feeling really tight around their hips and they feel like that's something that they need to work on, which I would completely agree. We've kind of lost the ability to have that openness in our hips, which is so important, and quite often people say within yoga that we store a lot of emotion in our hips, so make sure that you are in something comfortable and we'll get started and try and get ourselves really nice and open today. So we're going to start today in an extended child's pose. So what we want to do is bring our knees as wide as the yoga mat, bring our big toes to touch, look forward, inhale, and as we exhale we're going to reach up into the air and extend all the way forward, keeping our tailbone really nice and low, your chest down towards the floor, and bringing your forehead or your chin to come down to touch the floor. If this is too intense for you, you can always get a blanket or something just to pad your head and just allow yourself to be a little bit higher off the mat today, so you'll find yourself in a position more like this. But if you're able to sink all the way down, then we can start with stretching through the back and with those hips really nice and wide. Take a nice deep inhale through the nose. And sigh it out through the mouth. Do this twice more, in through the nose and out through the mouth. One more time, in through the nose and out through the mouth. Lovely. Now we're going to inhale through the nose and exhale through the nose, gently letting go. Slowly walking our fingertips back towards our body, lifting your chest up off the floor. We're going to come into a kneel. So bring your knees together, and then we're going to bring our body weight forward, bring our hands down towards the floor, and come into a tabletop position. So in our tabletop position, we want to really spread our fingertips and be pressing in all 5 of our knuckles into the floor. You want to be pushing up through the arms, engaging your shoulders. We want a really nice flat back here, so we're not dipping down or arching over. Our neck nice and long, as if there is a rod running from the top of your head all the way down to the base of your spine. And if someone was to place a plate on your tabletop, they could eat off you. Lovely. Now maintaining these lovely straight lines on the front of your leg and the back of your arms, I want you to inhale, and as you inhale, bend through that right knee and lift your foot up towards the sky. Lovely. Now be careful here, we don't want our right hip to be opening up loads. We want to keep it really nice and low so that we have level hips. So we're working on engaging our core, keeping that foot nice and active. And we're going to inhale, and as we inhale, start drawing 3 big circles round. And then we're going to change direction, making sure you keep breathing and your hips stay really nice and low. And we're going to really keeping that knee nice and bent. Inhale. And then as we exhale, words with me today, we're going to bring that knee forward, bending, and try to place that foot in between your hands. Now, depending on your proportion, people might find this really, really difficult, but try and tuck it in, and if you can't, just move that right arm to allow yourself space to place that leg there. You're going to shuffle the left knee back a couple of inches so that we come into this really nice low lunge. So we're sinking into that right hip and stretching through the front of our left leg. Inhale. Exhale to remove your right hand and place it on the inside of your right knee, pushing outwards. You might roll onto the outside edge of that right foot and look over your right shoulder, really pushing through, opening up your right hip. Breathe here. 3 breaths. With your exhale, finding ease. Not dumping down into your left hand, but trying to keep everything really nicely engaged. And then we'll gently bring that right knee back to center. Place our right hand on the outside edge of your right foot. And we're going to tuck our left toes under. Lift that left knee slightly and create some space here so that we can come back down into our tabletop. Really nice. We're going to do the same on the other side. Making sure that you've got good positioning in your tabletop, that you're not jumping or or arching through the spine, but trying to imagine that rod all the way through your body. Your hips really nice and level. Inhale, engage your core, knitting together your lower and upper abdomen, bending that left knee and pushing your left foot up towards the sky. And then again, keeping the hips low, you're going to draw 3 big circles with your knee and change direction. Not forgetting to breathe. And then we're going to tuck that knee, pulling it forward through your center line and really trying to kick that foot all the way through. And again, if you need to use your hands just to help you bring it forward or move your left arm to make space, then that's completely fine. Just work with your body today. We're going to just move that right knee back a couple of inches, sink forward into that left hip, stretching through the front of our left right thigh and noticing the stretch through the front hip. Inhale, bring that left hand onto the inside of the left knee, pushing the knee outwards, following your shoulder, looking over and opening up that hip. Again, 3 really nice deep breaths here, allowing ourselves to find ease within this pose. Hip opening can feel really intense. You can keep your left foot grounded to the floor, open it up slightly if you want to make it a deeper stretch. Inhale, come back through to center, placing that left hand down on the outside edge of your left foot, tucking that right foot under, creating space and pushing back, coming into your tabletop. You're going to sink back now, coming to kneel. Roll your hands just a few times just to be nice to your wrists after being on them for a little while. And then what we're going to do is just place your hands down on either side. Bring your weight ever so slightly forward and then tuck your toes under. Again, this can feel quite an intense stretch when you first do it, so we won't stay here for too long. We'll work some more on feet another time. But I want you to keep your hands there and just really gently allow yourself to roll up, coming into a forward fold. Take a second to breathe here. And then as you inhale, vertebra by vertebra at a time, gently rolling yourself back up to standing. We're going to straight away move into a warrior 2. So what we want to do is keep our right foot grounded and step your left foot forward so that you have a really nice long stride between your left and right foot. We'll twist that right foot into a 90-degree angle so that it is in line with the short edge of the mat. Keep your tailbone really nicely tucked. So if you can engage your core, so you're tucking your... Today is a bad day for words. We're trying to engage the lower and upper abdominals. Bear with me. As we inhale, we're going to bring our arms wide so that we really open up our hips. You'll notice that your hips are rotating more towards the back edge of the mat. We're not pushing them forward, we're really keeping them nice and open, following that line of our arms. And then as we exhale, bringing that left knee to bend down. Now you want to be able to see your big toe. So if your left knee is coming in, just give it a really gentle push, not too hard. Be very loving to your body here. Just see if you can open up your hip enough to see that left toe. Keeping that core engaged, keeping that tailbone really nice and tucked under so that we're not sticking our bottoms out. Arms nice and long. Inhale, bringing your right arm overhead, and then exhale to draw it back like a bow and arrow. Inhale. Exhale, drawing that bow and arrow back. One more time. Inhale. Exhale, draw that bow and arrow all the way. And then exhale, straighten that front leg. Now we're going to twist our left toes so that they come to kind of face outwards on our mat. And then twist our right toes a little bit further forward so that we have 2 lines of our feet which are kind of following our knees. If you were to bend, that they go in the direction that your feet are pointing. Lovely. Place your hands on your hips. Inhale. Exhale to lean forward, tilting from your hips, not from your back. So we want to really imagine that our hips are a hinge and they're just closing down like this. We're not trying to bend like that in order to create the shape. So you might find that you're only here because you're bending from your hips, but that's much better form than to be bent like that. So really don't try and force yourself to come towards the ground. Allow your hips to do the work here. Exhale as we lean forward, coming down as far as feels accessible for you today, and maybe allowing your hands to drop down towards the floor. You might have a block here just to give yourself a bit more height, whatever you need to make this practice accessible for you. And as a guide, your feet should kind of be as wide as your hands when you hold them out at either side. So that's your arm span and your leg span, and that makes this a really nice stretch for you. Stay here for a couple more breaths. Nice deep inhales and exhales. Then we're going to plant our left hand in the middle. And again, doing that bow and arrow, just stretch up through the right hand side and notice the pull on your left leg. Exhale to release. Inhale, swap hands, keeping your right in the center and stretching all the way up. And then exhale to release. Lovely. Keeping your core engaged, taking your hands off the floor and placing them on your hips. Inhale, lift all the way up. Now we're going to flip it. So this time we're going to twist our right feet out, foot out. 2 right feet, 1 right foot. Facing it towards the short edge of the back of your mat. Twisting your left foot so that it's sideways, 90-degree angle. Inhale, arms out to either side. Exhale to come down over that right knee so that we get a really nice 90-degree angle again here with our knee. Tailbone tucked under, core engaged. Really nice integrity in this pose so that we're not dumping. Imagining those hips really opening, making sure that you can see that big toe on the right foot. Inhale, bringing that arm overhead, and exhale as we draw it back. Inhale, overhead. Exhale, drawing it all the way back. One more time. Inhale. Exhale, draw it back. Lovely. Going to inhale to come up, straightening that leg. And again, twisting that back foot, right foot, so that our feet are facing slightly outwards. You're going to inhale, and this time as we exhale, we're going to sink down, dropping our tailbone towards the floor, coming into a nice goddess squat. Trying to keep that tailbone tucked under, feet nice and wide. You might need to adjust their position slightly. I'm just going to gently sway from side to side. 3, 2, don't forget to breathe. 1, back to center, and inhale to straighten through. Wonderful. We're going to step to the front of our mat now. Inhale, lifting your arms up overhead. We're going to twist, heel toe our feet so that they kind of just drop over the side of the mat. Coming up onto tiptoes, hands to hearts now. And we're going to slowly drop our tailbone down, again trying to maintain that really nice straight spine. And see how far we can come down, bringing that tailbone towards the ground, coming into Malasana, our squat. Now, your heels might be off the floor or more towards the floor, whichever is fine. Again, this is quite an intense hip opening. But what we want to try and be doing is using our elbows to really push out our knees so that we really get a lot from this. Take a few deep breaths here. Again, you might be up here. You might lose your balance. Don't worry about it at all. This is a practice. Pushing out your knees, experiencing this stretch. And then we're going to try and do the reverse. We're going to come back up. So coming back onto our tiptoes if you're not there already. Straightening out through the legs, keeping that spine nice and low. And coming to standing. Wonderful. Inhale, arms up above your head. Exhale to fold them down. Placing your hands on the floor. Inhale to look up. Exhale, plant them down and step your right foot and your left foot back, coming into a plank. Then we're going to send our hip bones back, bring our toes slightly forward and coming into our downward dog. We want our hands to be really nice and spread here. You might have knees bent. heels off the floor, but making sure that your back is really nice and long and you're pushing through your arms, engaging your shoulders, nice long back. Inhale, lifting your right leg up towards the sky, bending your knee, and this time bringing it forward, placing your right knee by your right wrist and your left foot towards your left wrist, coming into pigeon. So you might need to step your hip back a little bit here. If this feels really intense, you can always sit on your foot so that you're not opening your hip so much, but you're still doing a bit of good work for that hip warming. If this is feeling okay for you, you might need a cushion or something to lift you up here, whatever you need to do to modify to make this more comfortable. And we'll have our hands just in front of us for now. Take a couple of deep breaths. And then slowly we'll start to walk our hands forward, bringing our bodies down towards the mat. And you might put your fists into little balls here and rest your head on them. You might be able to have your head on the floor. You might just be here, chilling out. This is fine. Just make sure that you're as comfortable as you can be given the nature of the position. We'll take 2 more deep breaths. And then we're going to place our hands down, tuck those back toes under, and bring that foot back, coming back into your downward dog. Now we'll do the same on the other side. Lift your left leg into the sky, bend through that left knee, bringing our body weight forward, placing the left knee down by the left wrist, and bringing that right foot out. Again, if this is more comfortable for you, just sitting on a bent leg, do that. I'm not there, unfortunately. I can't look at what's best for you, but you trust your instinct and what feels right for your body. If you are here, or if you're anywhere, if you've got padding, you're going to slowly start walking up, bodies down. So bringing those arms out in front of you, bringing your body down towards the ground. And again, you might put your hands and fists and place them on top of each other and use that as a pillow. You might have a pillow which you want to rest your head on if you used it earlier for our extended child's pose, or just have a blanket there, or otherwise just find a place where you can rest your head. Keeping those hips really nice and grounded. I noticed there that I was kind of falling onto my left hip a little bit, so just noticing if you are trying to make this easier with certain movements, just lifting up that left hip off the ground and sinking into the right, so that again they're really nice and level and you can feel that stretch all the way through that left hand side. One more deep breath. And then slowly walking our hands back towards our body, tucking those right toes under, lifting that left leg and coming back to the downward dog. My hips always clicking. A little symphony. I'm going to look between our hands, and then we're going to step our left foot and our right foot down, coming into our cobbler's pose. So you want to have your right foot close in towards your body and your left foot in front of them, knees dropping out down to the side. Again, you might need a cushion or a block or something here if your hips are feeling really, really tight. If you can let gravity do the work and it's not too painful, just letting your hips fall open is really good practice. Inhale, lifting your arms up towards the sky. Exhale, we're going to bring our hands down and then keeping our hips really nice and low. So notice if your tailbone's coming off the floor, we want to keep our sit bones grounded, walking our hands forward. So you'll notice, as I'm doing this, I can quite easily get my sit bones off the floor and my bum is trying to come up. We want to maybe walk less far, but make sure that we keep your bottom really nice and grounded, and this will help a lot more when it comes to opening that left hip. Take a deep breath in and out, and inhale, walking your hands back through to center. Now we're going to swap our feet over. So bringing your left heel in towards the centre line, your right heel out in front. Inhale, lifting your arms up towards the sky, and again, exhale, we'll bring our hands down, but not too fast as we notice that our sit bones come off the floor, but keeping everything really nice and low, extending forward, letting those hips open. Take a few breaths here. And then inhale, walking your hands back through to centre. Lovely, everybody. Okay, we're going to come into our final pose now. This is called Baddha Konasana, bound angle pose. So what we're going to do is bring our feet in to touch. So we come into kind of a butterfly position, opening our feet really nice and wide, like we're opening the pages of a book. Using our elbows to push our knees down, keeping our spine really nice and straight. We'll inhale. Exhale, just bring our bodies forward. Again, hinging from the hips, not arching over to try and get closer towards the floor. And really noticing the stretch on the inside of our hips here. Stay here for about 10 breaths. So this can feel really, really intense. Again, I really urge you to find something which can make this more comfortable for you if you're really experiencing pain in the hip opening. And noticing that really fine line between discomfort and pain. Sometimes when we do practice yoga it can feel painful, but it's just all of the muscles releasing and stretching out. And I really urge you not to just give up because of that. We have what we call sukha, which is ease, and our out-breath represents that ease. So when you breathe out and you do your exhale, allow yourself to relax, allow yourself to find ease in the posture, and gravity will do its work and pull your knees down. Keep your spine really nice and straight and just allow those hips to open, and notice the difference that it makes when we don't have all of that tension stuck there. One more deep breath. And then I'm going to give you a couple of options. So, first of all, what you can do is place your hands underneath your knees and bring them gently up towards your centre line. Give yourself a nice hug, and then we'll come down into Shavasana, our corpse pose, our final position. Alternatively, what you can do is stay with your feet in Baddha Konasana, but allow yourself to come down, coming into Supta Baddha Konasana, our reclined bound angle pose. So keeping your hips really nice and open, you might need to just adjust your posture slightly. This can be an even more intense hip opener. So if the first one was too much for you, I do really urge you to maybe start with your legs straight out now, and then if you do this video again, then maybe you'll challenge yourself to coming into Supta Baddha Konasana. But every day is different, and some days your hips can feel a lot tighter than others, and I know that my right hip is a lot tighter than my left, so every person is different and every day is different and every side of the body, so don't be hard on yourself if it's feeling particularly tight today. As I said at the start of the video as well, there's a belief within yoga that we store emotion within the hips, so it can often feel quite emotionally intense doing these sorts of hip openings. So if that is happening to you too, then join the club. We've all gone through it. It's a big release. There's a lot of tension stored there. We put a lot of pressure on our hips, walking and driving and all of the things that we do every day. So allow it to open, allow yourself to experience that discomfort and also find that ease within the movement. Place one hand on your heart and one hand on your stomach, either with your legs straight out in front of you, not palms facing the ceiling, hands on your stomach and your heart, or with your feet together, your hips open. We're going to repeat what we did at the start. So taking a nice deep inhale through your nose and exhale through the mouth. Twice twice more. Inhale through the nose, filling up your lungs really nice and full, and exhale through the mouth. One last time, taking the deepest inhale you've taken all day, really filling up every single space that you have within your lungs, within your stomach, letting yourself expand fully. And then big exhale.